Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Welcome back to WSA and the last session for today. One session in the category that I'm personally very excited about, it's inclusion and empowerment. There couldn't be any better moderator for this session than Tanzila Khan, joining from Pakistan, but I think currently based in Sweden, Europe. Tanzila herself won WSA back in 2018 and inspired the audience and the whole community in Cascais in Portugal when she pitched. Thank you, Tanzila, for doing this. Over to you and have fun with the moderation.
Thank you so much, Nora. Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone out there. I'm sure you all are having a great day, night, evening, afternoon, whatever the time zone is. Right now I'm enjoying my fika, which is the afternoon coffee here in Sweden. And as Nora mentioned that being a winner of WSA, it gives me immense pleasure. Firstly, in 2018, when menstrual health care was acknowledged, my startup, which is about delivering feminine hygiene products to women across Pakistan using Femtech. And today, when I am given the chance to moderate a session on inclusion and empowerment, it gives me happiness. It shows that the world is moving in the right direction. And I'm very happy today to introduce 5 new winners who are actually taking the movement forward. I've been doing some stalking, and every time I would look at one of the winners, I'll be like, this is one service I would like to utilize. So I guess that as a beneficiary of the community of disability, within Pakistan, I not just feel excited to be part of the world where such solutions are being discussed, but also as part of the jury, I feel that it's my responsibility to look at different solutions from the inclusive lens. And now, once we have this separate category here at WSA, again, overwhelmed and happy to see that we're moving in the right direction. And with this, I will not take much time and introduce our 5 winners. I remember the pressure that I faced back in 2018 when I knew I was one of the winners, but then I really thought that I need to compete and work hard and come forward and make myself more visible. But by the end of the experience, when we could not win the category, I realized one thing, that it's not about being the winner, it's actually about being a representative of all the winners and being a representative of the community that is doing the same work as you are doing. So today, as the pitches come forward, I want you all to know that there is no pressure. We're all in this together. We all are coming forward with different solutions, and we all are making a difference. And we all, what we do, it's good news. So let's just jump right into it. I want to hear from the winners themselves. Starting with Naa Sika, I would like to welcome them to present their pitch, and I'm excited to hear more about how they're making banking more easy for the informal sector. So all the way from Ghana, Naa Sika. Oh yeah, and the timer is right here. So you guys have 3 minutes, and then I'm going to call the buzzer, and then we'll hand over to the jury to ask you some questions and probably grill you guys for another 3 minutes. Over to you guys.
It is.
It's fine, yeah.
It's visible. So your time starts now.
Hi, my name is Chelsea, representing Naa Sika Microbank. I will pitch, and then my colleague here, Ralph, will take the questioning. The 2 beautiful ladies you see on your screens, Ya and Nanama, they represent many African women in the informal sector who are very, very busy with their business and struggle to manage their finances after a very productive day. It's either they have to travel a distance to make a deposit at the bank, which mostly close early to the general public, or they have to wait to take it home, which is very risky. It is evident that existing top-tier financial institutions have marginalized most of such people because digital financial services are primarily designed for high-income people with salaries. This is what inspired us to create Naa Sika, an e-microbank that does not require a deposit to have an account, with no monthly fees, no minimum deposit, and so much more, helping to achieve UN SDG 1 and 8. We call it a cross-platform for all things money, as we offer multiple user channels like Telegram, WhatsApp, USSD, iOS, and Android apps. A one-stop shop solution, including savings, talk about payments, insurance, access to credits, investments, and other social protection needs. Although it's a digital service, we employ agents who we call mobile bankers to provide sales and support physically to semi-literate at various hotspots across the country. Our ultimate goal is to demystify banking with zero fees. Touching a little bit on our milestone, we officially launched a savings prototype in the year 2019. And since then, we have evolved to be an e-microbank for the unbanked. In 2020, we came up tops out of 208 fintechs across Africa in the Billion Mission Project by the World Bank. And we are in the process of scaling into other African countries with our wonderful solution. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Naa Sika, Africa's next new bank.
Wow. I mean, you're already making a 30-second profit out of this pitch. Well done, Naa Sika. Congratulations. And can I please now invite the jury and the audience to put on your inclusive lens and ask questions. So do we have someone? Do I see a hand raise?
Here.
I feel like I'm in some auction. Yes, Anna.
Hi. Hi, nice meeting you, everybody. I'm Anna, and I'm based here in Berlin. And first and foremost, congratulations and thank you for sharing this and the amazing work. I just had a very specific question, and it's regarding the growth that you have had since 2018 until now. So, can you explain what? How many people are working at the moment? How many users do you have right now? And what's basically the need that you need to basically expand to the rest of the countries in Africa, meaning money and I don't know, because it seems to me that you already have a lot of support and prices and so on. So I just would like to know, what do you need basically to get to the rest of the countries that you want? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the question. For us, since 2019 till as at last year, October, we have been prototyping, because we just didn't want to just put out a solution and didn't know what the outcome was going to be. So we were actually looking at having a closed user group of about 1,000 people to test with. And eventually we had that number, which we grew just around 2020 when we won the Billion Mission Project by the World Bank. So from last year, October till date, we're actually hiring mobile bankers that we are planting across various areas that we have semi-illiterate people who cannot access digital solutions by themselves. So these people are also in a way providing financial literacy kind of education to such persons who would be deprived of maybe a little bit of technologically deprived in those ways. For now, we did this prototyping in the western part of Ghana, and at the moment we are close to about 2,000 people that we actually use for the prototyping. Although we wanted 1,000, we actually grew to about 2,000 people. As I speak now, from next month, we have marketing campaign that we because since we roll out the new platform to include.
Okay. Guys, we have to quickly move on to one more question. Wilfred, can you please have your question?
Sure.
You both have 30 seconds.
My name is Wilfred. I work for Zero Project, which is a project of the Eflow Foundation, based in Vienna, Austria. We do research and innovation for people with disabilities. Congratulations! Sounds like a great pitch. Two questions: what does the name stand for, Naa Sika? And how do you hook up with telecom providers to host your services?
Yes. So for the telecom,
10 seconds.
Okay. We are connected to all the mobile money platforms. So because that is the digital money we can use on the platform. So anybody who hooks up to our system needs to have mobile money. Ghana now is going to digital currency, which ECD. That we are also working with the central bank, possibly to also connect to that as well.
Okay, touching on the meaning of Naa Sika,
thank you so much, guys. We have to move on, but I would really appreciate if you all can keep your answers short so we can ask more questions and get maximum juice out of every startup over here, because of course we have a lot of curiosity and questions. So let's just move on to the next startup, that one that we have over here that I'm becoming a huge fan of. They are called Mobility Mojo, and they work about accessibility with hotels. Now, I am a person on wheelchair, and since I am here in Europe, I'm traveling around and I'm going to these different places, and I always end up at the wrong hotel that does not match my accessibility needs. I take it as an adventure, but I think my adventure would be much more better if I get to go to a hotel that has accessibility needs met. And I think Mobility Mojo is a startup that's definitely going to help someone like me. So over to you guys. 3 minutes, show us some magic.
Thanks. There are 1.2 billion people globally with accessibility needs, 15% of the world's population. But when we talk about accessibility, we're talking about something which affects all of us. Your elderly mother or father with a bad hip and a bad knee, yourself with a bad back, and that 1.2 billion people. I'm Stephen Kluski, co-founder and CEO of Mobility Mojo and an internationally certified accessibility expert. And I'm a wheelchair user as well, so have very real lived experience. We're using technology to simplify accessibility for global impact. We started in hospitality, but when COVID hit and people couldn't travel, we had to reassess to understand how we could continue to drive our impact. We discovered that companies in general struggle with a number of accessibility challenges. To understand stakeholder needs, to attract and retain some of the most brilliant people in the world who happen to have accessibility needs, with global oversight on their buildings' accessibility. And as well as that, employees, visitors struggle with detailed accessibility of the workplace environment. 80% of disabilities are acquired between the ages of 18 to 64, the workforce age. Let me show you how it works. A building manager uses our tool on their phone. They walk through their premises, answer questions, take photos, take measurements, and in the space of about an hour to 3 hours have captured the accessibility information on their building. We then provide each site with a detailed, personalized report on their accessibility. Now they have an accessibility score to build from and tangible actions to improve. Corporate level have full global accessibility insights. Employees and visitors can also access this information from employee apps, intranet, etc. Simple, scalable, impactful. We're working with the 3 largest facilities management companies in the world, CBRE, ISS, and Sodexo, to implement this solution with their global clients. Merck, MSD Pharmaceuticals have just agreed to a global rollout, and we're going through onboarding with Google globally. We genuinely believe this will positively impact not just every employee, but every single person on this planet. We have a hotel product, a consumer bank product, restaurants product, and visitor center product. Simple, scalable, impactful. The solution just works. Hotels saw nearly a 2,000% return on their investment almost immediately, while end users get the information they need to be empowered to travel. We work with some of the largest hotel groups in the world, including Marriott and Virgin. We're incredibly passionate about creating a world which is accessible to everyone, and we align with at least 7 of the UN SDGs. The primary message I have is that all of you represent enormous potential and enormous possibility for change, because we know that a fully accessible world, it's a brighter future for our generation and for the generations yet to come. Down, everyone is open to this world. We just want to make sure that the world is open to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stephen. And I was just thinking, maybe in a parallel universe, I'm doing the same thing, because this is like a dream idea. This is something that that was required, needed, and you guys are doing a fantastic job. This is fantastic. And can I please welcome the jury now to please have any questions for Stephen? We're ready. And I think I have one taker. Is that Sid? Right? And we also have Wilfred. Our experts are pretty charged. I like that. So
Hello.
Shall we have Sid first? Yes.
Hello. Good day. Stephen, I see you're a person with disability yourself, right?
Yeah, that's right, Fabian.
Me too. I'm a quadriplegic, talking here from Brazil. How do you plan to make your app available to other countries and other languages? Do you have a plan for that?
Yeah, so Fabio, we're already in other countries around the world. It's available in English, Spanish, French, German, even Chinese. We've multiple languages. We are working with those three largest facilities management companies in the world. So clients of theirs include the likes of Visa, of MasterCard, of Pfizer, of GSK, of Adidas. We have the potential to impact potentially every person in this world with what we're doing. So we're really excited about where this is going.
Wow, that's amazing confidence and amazing direction. Wilfred, please.
Thank you. Congratulations, Stephen. I think we met at Zero Project some time ago. How many users or how many locations do you have in the system at the moment?
So we're on track to impact our target this year, which is 100,000 people and 500 organizations. In 3 years, we're looking to impact 100 million people and 2,000 organizations. And by year 5, our target is 1 billion people. We believe we'll be able to achieve that by those strategic partnerships that I've just outlined.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. And I also had a quick question, something that probably I missed. What exactly is your business model?
So we charge a license fee per user per building capacity. Depending on which product they're looking for, but it needs to be obviously sustainable in terms of revenue, and we've seen that the figures add up and more. So we're confident that we can deliver the impact that we're talking about.
Perfect. Sounds amazing. And I welcome the audience members as well to pass on your questions. Let's make this conversation as wide as possible as we can. Trust me, all of these problems we all get affected by, and these solutions we all will be affected by in a better way as well. So if we have any questions, let's just take a 2-second pause. I guess not. So with that, we'll move on. Thank you so much, Stephen. Congratulations once again.
Thanks.
And you all might be thinking that maybe I'm saying this for each and every startup, but I swear, guys, every time I read about a startup, I'm like, I want this. Then I read about another startup. I'm like, I want this too. So this next startup is Eflow from Lebanon. And I swear, the moment I read about it, I said, this is something I need for my own startup, Girlythings, because we wanted to launch courses. And we were like, WhatsApp is a medium that everyone has, and these social media networks. And I'm like, I'm going to get in touch with these guys right away. So I would like to now welcome Eflow all the way from Lebanon to tell us more about their startup. The floor is yours, and so is the timer. Begins.
Okay. So this is Rami. Rami is a 14-year-old and he lives in a refugee camp in the north of Lebanon. So Rami aspires to become a doctor and save lives. During the pandemic, Rami was not able to continue learning as he suffered from different challenges. So Rami had weak internet connection, consistent power cutouts, he had weak digital skills, and even no access to computers or laptops. But this is not the case with Rami only. So the pandemic has affected more than 1.5 billion learners worldwide. And this is a problem not created by the pandemic, but it was found back then, but the pandemic has highlighted it more. This is why we created Eflow. So Eflow utilizes the latest technologies in machine learning and chatbot technology for a more interactive, engaging, and most importantly, accessible online learning experience. How it works is very simple. So educators are able to create educational flows or even choose from our content library. These educational flows are then sent to the learners over instant messaging apps that they are already accustomed to using, like WhatsApp. And based on the responses, the chatbot would help them to learn a specific skill. Educators or supervisors are able to track learners in real time, interact with them, help them out if they're struggling, and even analyze reports and export reports to understand what's happening. So our unique value proposition is the platform works directly on instant messaging apps, so no need to download any third-party application. We incorporate gamification elements inside the instant messaging apps, and we leverage machine learning for a more personalized learning experience. So Eflow is currently being used by parents to equip them with skills of how to raise their children from 0 to 5 years old, by youth to learn about basic language numeracy, about digital skills and entrepreneurship, and even by local business owners to help them scale their local business. So currently, by the support with international organizations like WSA, MIT Solve, IPM Accelerator, SeedStars, and others, we were able to work with more than 9 international organizations, and we have covered more than 12,000 learners till now. So I would be more than happy to get your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. This seems like a really impactful journey. I'm so happy to hear this. And I'd like to welcome our experts for any questions. We have Wilfred. Please.
Thank you. Congratulations. This sounds a very, very useful and advanced tools. You mentioned accessibility features. What are they?
So currently, for example, when we're working with students for basic language numeracy, some of them maybe don't know how to read. So we use a lot of voice notes when it comes to that, a lot of images, a lot of visuals. So these, for example, WhatsApp is something that can be used by blind people. But with the content that we create a specific path for them to make it easier for them to be learning on these apps. So they're already accustomed how to use them. They're accessible for them, but the content is not accessible. So this is where we can also help.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anna, please.
So language is a very, very, very explored territory so far. And can you tell me what's the difference? Why you and not the rest that are working on the same issue?
Okay, so when it comes to what we're working on, so first of all, we're not doing this product just to help the people that don't have access to education to have access to education. It's more of changing the learning experience to make it more human-centered. And by doing that, we are including the people that don't have access to education, because we're getting this learning experience into the apps or things that they already are accustomed to using or where they are. So this is one advantage. Another advantage is when it comes to the partnerships that we're doing. For example, we have a partnership with Eflow International where we have their content that is translated to more than 12 different languages that is adapted to our platform in a chat conversational like format, for example, financial literacy and entrepreneurship. So when it comes to the technology and the content, this is where we see like our power.
Thank you.
Thank you, Basil. And I was just wondering that when you started this, at any point in the development, did you also focus on specifically people with disabilities who face challenges in going to any building to get a degree or learn any course? They could actually use your platform or any organizations, a B2B model.
Yes, exactly. So as we started working with these underprivileged or underserved communities, they had specific programs for people that have disabilities. So they might be deaf, they might be blind. So when it comes to these, some of them might not be able to access like a different centers, so they have to stay at home. So all of these people have different learning paths on our platform that we support. So first of all, we started with like just making education accessible for them. And as we discovered with the partners that we're working with, they have specific programs for them. We were able, with technology and with our platform, to be able to customize or to adapt this to also get them involved into that.
Well, guess what? You and I are having a virtual coffee very soon. So I look forward to that. Thank you very much. And I am inviting our audience members on AirMe to please come forward and ask questions. I mean, back in my country, when somebody wins something, we grill them for a treat. We can't do that because it's all virtual, but you can grill them with questions. So bring them on, and I'm sure they're ready to take on the world, so they could handle our questions, right? So we have a question from Hussein, please.
Hello, Basil. I've seen like you have mentioned about reaching some other countries. So can you tell us please about your team scalability? Since you have mentioned you have content from different languages, talking about, you can have these questions and only.
Thank you, Hussein, for your question. So yeah, when it comes to the platform, like it's pretty flexible. So now we have it in 4 different languages. We have Arabic, English, French, Spanish, and we're currently working on the Japanese version. When it comes to supporting instant messaging apps, we have WhatsApp, Telegram, Signal, Facebook Messenger. We're now working on the Line and Discord. So it's the scalability of the technology is growing as we find more need for the platform, and specifically working with international partners. So some of our partners are in Japan, some are in the APAC area. So it depends on the partners that we get in contact with. Then we do some customizations with the platform to be able to connect with the people and include them from different countries. So like currently we're in more than 6 countries. 3 of them we have a base there, like we're helping the students, and 3 we're already doing a pilot with them, potentially to have them on the platform.
Thank you very much for that answer, Basil. And Anna, do you have another question?
I don't. I kept my hand raised. Thank you.
You'll get tired. I think you should come down by now. Thank you so much, Basil. We really need to believe that we're doing what we're doing virtually if we really want to get into the field. Otherwise, we'll get bored and then probably end up in the metaverse much, much earlier. Okay, so now I think I'm going to take you all back to where my heart was that I mentioned earlier, but I think we have a question. So my story can wait. We have a question from Tim, right? Over to you.
Yes, exactly. Thanks a lot. First of all, thanks a lot for presenting that very innovative solution, especially with regards to the bandwidth. My question would be like, if you use this app via WhatsApp, for example, like how much traffic will it actually create in the end? Like, do you also have some visuals which are included, which then again, like maybe also create a bit more of traffic, or how is it? Is it just by text?
Yeah, this is a great question, Tim. So when we started with the platform, yes, it was like text, images, voice notes, like everything you can send over WhatsApp, PDF documents. But we missed an area where we want the interaction between the students. So we do support something called social boards or sharing boards, where we can ask students, for example, send us a video of yourself explaining this concept. And then the other students will get the videos from the other students. They will see what's the reflection on this topic. Send us a picture of this. Send us what do you think about this topic? What's your reflection on that? We can send them even games when it comes to like multiple choice, dragging, like matching. So we have different activities that we call transparent links that I mentioned in the slides as gamified elements that are being used inside the instant messaging app without downloading any application to make it more engaging.
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, I would really like to follow up on a virtual coffee with you as well.
Maybe we all could join together and maybe go American system.
Amazing.
So I suggest having a coffee session after this one.
I think like I'm all set for my second cup of coffee because this conversation I would never want to miss. Wonderful. Well, the open invite is there. Anybody could join us. But now let's move on to our next winner. As I was saying that I'm going to take you guys back to Portugal, and this startup speak is actually from Portugal. I just quickly thought of something. It was more like an epiphany that just came up that, I always don't see Portugal as a country with beautiful landscapes. it is actually a place where I got my first push, my first validation in the right direction, because my startup was on menstrual health care, and back in my country, unfortunately, it's still a huge taboo. So I would face somewhat a backlash, sometimes even from my family, that can't you find a better profession? I mean, you're so educated, you're so privileged. Menstrual health care is the only field that you wanted to work in, and I said that's exactly why I want to work in it. One, I'm crazy. Number two, there's a huge requirement to talk about so many menstruators across the world. So now, as we welcome Speak from Portugal, I quickly wanted to share my memories, and the push from WSA made me continue the work that I'm doing today. So I'm just going to recall all the laughters and good memories, and then welcome Speak on board with the same energy. So Speak, over to you, 3 minutes.
Thank you so much, Tanzila, and thank you so much for sharing your story about Portugal as well. I'm going to share my screen. Do you see it? Do you see my screen, Tanzila?
Yes.
Okay, amazing. I'm going to start now.
Please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Harvin. I arrived in Portugal less than a year ago, and I had a hard time adjusting to the local language and culture. I couldn't communicate for everyday things like buying groceries, getting my paperwork done, and I did not know anyone in my new city. I felt alone. Many of you could probably relate to this. Every week, 5 million people move to a new city. The global population of migrants has been rising for the past 20 years, peaking at 281 million in 2020. Whether you wanted to move or if you've needed to move due to conflicts, the problem of integration arises upon your arrival in the destination country. This is caused by two factors: not knowing the local language and culture, and not having a support network of friends and family to make the process smoother. At Speak, we fight for the social inclusion of migrants and refugees. We connect them to locals through language and culture exchange experiences to help build meaningful relationships based on trust and loyalty, to help solve problems in their city. How do we do that? Our app and website allows anyone to learn or share a language and meet new people in their city for free. And we've simplified the onboarding process to make it easy to access. If you're a migrant or refugee, select your city and take a 30-second language assessment. This will point you to a group that's suitable to your level, and you can sign up for any offline or online group. If you want to help break down the barriers of language, we have a fully self-serve online training for you to be a buddy and lead your own language groups. Up to now, we've attracted over 52,000 people from 200 nationalities, and we've had 59 languages shared in that time. But here's the real impact. People are meeting up in a world where technology sometimes divides us. We're breaking down the barriers of social exclusion and creating strong social bonds among diverse participants and buddies. And on a personal level, I can now communicate with the locals and I feel at home in Portugal. We're scaling Speak globally with a social franchising model that allows change makers to create a local impact in their cities and through partnerships with governments. As you know, over 3.5 million people have fled Ukraine to neighboring countries due to the current conflict. We've opened up our tools to help them by connecting refugees with locals and organizations in their new city. Speak is playing a part in helping them settle and get integrated into their local communities. If you want to help break the barriers of social exclusion and create diverse, inclusive cities, share your world with us. Thank you.
Great timing. Amazing. Thank you so much, Harvind. And do we have questions for Harvind? Yes, Anna, please.
Hi. So, say hi to Hugo from my end. We helped him to scale up to Berlin event at some point back in the days. So can you explain me, because I'm really well familiar with Speak and also with issues that comes along with language. I'm a migrant living in Germany, and I'm going to tell you language is the biggest problem. So I would like to know what has done Speak recently to move on from not just the language barrier, because let's say that in countries like Germany, it's very difficult that by going to courses like this, you will learn German. So can you tell me what are you providing differently now? essentially to motivate essentially the students to feel that they're more inclusive towards the population. And most importantly, I would like to see what's the difference of what you're going to do with people coming from Ukraine, particularly because as we're dealing with this in countries like Germany, these are people who got granted 1 year to 2 years, let's say, resident or protection. So, of course, we don't know how long this situation is going to go. So how are you going to do it? How are you providing this? Is it for free still, or are you asking for, are the users paying? So what's the SPIC doing now differently than before, or is just basically you are scaling this model in all everywhere?
Thank you for the question, and I'll send on your regards to Hugo as well. Just to share on based on what you asked about what is it besides language that helps them feel inclusive. So SPIC doesn't just focus on language. It is one part of the equation, but the other very important part is creating social bonds within people in the community. So when you come onto the SPIC platform, not only can you learn a language, but if you're a local, for example, and if you want to meet new people from different cultures, you can lead a language group as a buddy, and you get to meet all the people who have just arrived at your city, and you get to share different contexts and experiences with them. For example, if I'm in a language group right now and I know 5 people who have just moved as well, and maybe there are 2 locals in that same language group, we get to learn about each other's cultures, we get to learn the language, and we also get to know things about the city that we may not have known about, like which are the best restaurants, how do I get my paperwork done, how do I contact this office to get my residency. So it creates a safe space where everyone can share their experiences and in the process also be more comfortable in speaking the language. I hope that answers the first part, and I'm going to jump into the Ukraine section. So with the current situation with Ukraine, we've set up a new platform called Speak for Ukraine. And through this, we are looking to provide help to 3 sectors. One is the actual refugees itself. Second is for organizations who are dealing with refugees from Ukraine through a number of different areas. And third, we also want to connect volunteers from the different countries to either the organizations or the refugees from Ukraine who need help. And with this, we are doing it by offering them language groups in the specific countries. So for example, if a Ukrainian refugee arrives in Germany and they need to learn German, the idea here is we connect them to a buddy who can share and lead a language group for them in German to help them feel a bit more comfortable speaking the language and learning the language and knowing a bit more about their city. And also at the same time, if they need assistance with other processes, we will connect them with organizations who also need help and have come on board to help them. In terms of the business model, so we offer all of our groups for free. Participants and buddies can take part in the platform absolutely free, but we have 2 revenue streams. One is through B2B deals, where we work with companies to promote diversity and inclusion programs. And the second is a pay what you want model, which is totally optional for users of our platform. If they've done a language group, if they want to contribute a certain amount to the project, they have that option to do so. So these are the 2 revenue streams that we are currently working with. I hope that answers all your questions, Anna.
And Harvin, you're actually developing quite a fan following over here. So we have more questions from our jury members and from our experts. So Wilfred, can you please have your question?
Thank you. Congratulations also on the speed that you adapted to the most current crisis. One question: how do you keep the platform on purpose? Because it's for free. How do you select that the right people are hooked up to the right people? How is this done?
Thank you all for a great question. So right now, why we actually move for free is previously we had a paid model, which we charged 29 euros, I believe, but we wanted to promote access to this to those who really need it. So we took off the fee in January. And With it being free, what we have is when it comes to sharing a language, we have a self-training system for buddies where they get to learn the entire process of what needs to be done to be a buddy. And only once they complete that self-service training, they will be able to allocate themselves to a language group. And at the same time, from a participant's point of view, they are able to make wish lists for a specific language that they want to learn. And when a buddy and a participant has a match, and if there's enough interest on both ends, the buddy can create and allocate a language group, either online or offline, if they have venues or if we have partner venues that want to have these online, offline groups. And that's how we start the language groups.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Babak?
Thank you.
And if you can keep it short.
Yeah. I see you have a strong presence in Portugal. What has prevented you from moving into Brazil?
That's a great question, Robert. So we do have a strong presence in Portugal and 23 cities across Europe. We're definitely looking to expand outside as well. We're looking at Brazil, we're looking at South America as a whole, more countries in Asia and North America as well. But I think right now it's a combination of different factors. One, we have developed the social franchising model here, and we need to connect with more partners in these different regions and locations to be able to help us with the migration policies that are in place there, and knowing how we can help refugees and migrants who arrive in each city. At the same time, of course, funding will also be a great improvement and allow us to scale, because at the same time, diversifying our markets will take quite a number of expansion on the team itself. And I think it's a combination of different factors. It's not that we don't want to. We are in the process of it. And I believe in the next few years, we will be targeting all these new regions as well, in addition to what we already have.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Arvind. Even I had some questions in my mind, but I think I'm going to take them offline. Remember the coffee break that we all are taking?
I'm in. I love coffee. I'm in.
The club is improving, increasing, and I love that. And now our friends from Financial Inclusion are here with us, which was previously called MICC. Jonah is in the house, and I would like to give them the floor. And they're actually solving a problem that affects 35% of Canadians. And the moment I read that, I felt like moving to Canada. I was like, yeah, a problem is being solved over there. I want to go there. I have the visa though. A lot of work to be done. So over to Jonah. 3 minutes, the floor is yours.
All right, no, thanks for having me. So I'll just go ahead and share my screen quickly. Okay. And can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So my name is Jonah Chininga, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of MIC. Mainly, which is a community fintech platform allowing and enabling access to affordable credit. And this started with our story as a team. So we are 4 founders with immigrant backgrounds. Sergio and Marriott, they're both from Colombia. Myself, I'm from Zimbabwe, and James is from Kenya. And coming to Canada, we realized we didn't have access to affordable credit, which just translates to financial security. There are different factors that affect you during that journey. One is you're a non-resident, so you're not a permanent resident in the country, so you're considered high risk and you don't have access to affordable credit. But then secondly, you don't have any financial history that can be used to qualify you as a credit-worthy borrower. And this was a big problem because as new immigrants come into the ecosystem, they're trying to get plugged in, and how can they economically develop themselves? And going through that experience, that really impacted us, and we thought like, oh, okay, for us, we really relied on community to be able to meet our financial goals. And realizing that on a bigger scale, we realized that access to credit was a bigger problem in Canada, mainly affecting over 8.6 million Canadians who can access credit from their bank. And then they have to rely on predatory lenders such as payday lenders, which are very expensive and unsustainable. And that also translates into the credit invisible population, which is 35.3% of Canadians, and especially affecting newcomers coming to the country, as well as students who are new to the credit and entering the credit system. But then another aspect that we did realize was the location-based credit unions, which are mainly supposed to serve communities. The way communities now work has changed from being location-based to affinity-based, and then they were not meeting that gap. So what we created was a community banking as a platform to enable any community across Canada to develop their own digital version of a credit union to enable access to affordable credit while we take all those credit transactions and report them to the credit bureaus. And through our platform, as a community organizer, you can invite all your members to the platform. They go through the KYC process, and then you do have a community hub. And then after that, every member can link their account to the platform and then facilitate instant transactions that can be used to access credit among all the members. And then we take all the payment history and then report it to the credit bureaus. But then also at the same time, we are combining financial tools and social tools that enable the power of community, but then also at the same time, improving access to affordable credit in a communal system. To date, we've been working a lot with new immigrants, and then the biggest impact that I'm proud of is how we've been able to help mainly international students who have been affected with the pandemic, didn't have access to credit. Some of their parents couldn't afford to pay their fees, and then what we did was helping them utilizing the data that they have on the platform, connecting with credit unions to be able to access a credit that they could use to pay for their tuition whilst they're going through this transition. So that has been our purpose, and that has been our mission, and then that's what we do. But then in terms of our business model, our goal is to make our financial services much more affordable for the end user. So we do partner with community organizations, and then those are their customers that pay our monthly service fees as well as the white labeling fees. And then to the user, it's more of an affordable and free financial tool for them to use in a communal system. And other than that, that's my presentation. But I'm mainly looking at the market size in Canada. It's a market size of 19.5 billion in around community banking. But then for us, how can we change and turn it into a digital version? And that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rana, for sharing. And good on the timing as well. Can we please invite the jury members and the experts to ask their questions, and our audience members as well?
Okay.
That was a quick, crisp presentation, and we have Wilfred, please.
Thank you. How many users do you have at the moment, and what's let's say the growth rate in the last couple of weeks and months?
Yeah, right now we are fairly young, so we have a usage of 1,500 members, and then scaling the product as we grow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do we have more takers? Trust me, I feel like someone who used to host auction rounds earlier.
Yeah.
Are you
Anna.
here, Anna? Yeah. So based on I'm building on the user's question. Are you already making money with the users? And can you tell me how is it? Because you said that you are very young developing this, right? And this will continue for the growth. So how much traction do you have, and also how much this actually represents to the main goal, like the ideal case scenario of users per year? That would be amazing. Thanks.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So to date, right now, we do have 6 community partners. And then those 6 community partners, they do have membership of up to 18,000 members. But then we have been going through an onboarding process since we are a financial technology platform. And then the onboarding process has to be more streamlined and secure. But then in terms of the revenue, we're already generating revenue. So we do have a monthly service fee for community organization for $250. And then through those 6 community organizations, it's a recurring revenue every month. But then that's also combined with the MasterCard program that we have, which generates revenue through interchange fees. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Shana. And anyone else for questions? Let's take a 2-second focus. Great. Thank you very much. Congratulations to all the 5 winners. This has been amazing.